Okay, everyone, we're just going to start now. We've had a attendee sign in. Great turnout. Thank you all for joining. My name is Surjit Patel. I am the SharePoint admin here at QK Groups. A little bit about QK Groups. QK Groups is an IT solutions company. We provide many various innovative solutions for various business problems. We're partnered with many companies such as Microsoft and Nintex, K2, Salesforce, Adobe, and we do this to offer the best solutions along with the services, and we're also a reseller, and we love to work with SharePoint. So we are going to be heading to SharePoint Saturday Silicon Valley in June, so I hope you sign up and you come up there. We'll see you there. So today we're going to dive into the latest version of SharePoint, SharePoint 2016. So a little bit of an introduction about SharePoint. So Microsoft announced their plans and vision of SharePoint 2016 last April, and in August they announced their ITU preview. So there's been a lot of speculation on just what SharePoint and Microsoft were going to offer us. There was a buzz of new features and social integrations and a little bit of cloud features and functionality that we were going to have access to in SharePoint 2016. So this release is the latest on-premise release since Office 365. SharePoint 2013 was released in October 11th of 2012, and Office 365's update was released on February 27, 2013. So that's about 3 years worth of speculation on what SharePoint 2016 was going to be if there were ever to be one. Though 3 years is the amount of time that Microsoft usually waits to release their next SharePoint release. So from 2001, 2003, 2007, 2010, 13, and now finally 2016. So with the latest feature release, we'll get new features and a sort of an underlying proposition from Microsoft, which you'll notice heavily influences SharePoint and how we use it, and it will be covered in this webinar. So let's get moving on to just a little bit of talk about why SharePoint 2016 was released. A lot of people were believing that the next on-premise release was not going to be made by Microsoft or released by Microsoft, that we were going to move or jump straight to the cloud. So at Ignite, Bill Baer, the senior product marketing manager, said that SharePoint 2016 was built from the cloud up. So we already have confirmation that SharePoint is going to be more of a step for many to learn and understand that going to cloud isn't bad, and that there's a lot to gain from it, but also that a lot of companies and a lot of users did not want to move straight into cloud. They want to stay on-premise in their own servers. So this is a great middle ground for a lot of companies and users. So the important factor in this release was to enable those customers or companies and users who are not in a position to move to the cloud, but they want to utilize some of the newest features and best innovations that cloud technologies has to provide. So it connects your on-premise SharePoint sites to SharePoint Online and Office 365. So this is built as a hybrid powerhouse, which is great, and we're going to be taking a look at that a lot. So one of the things that you'll notice when you use anything new is that there's a change in the UI, so user interface. There's a change in design, and so when we're talking about SharePoint, we have to talk about the user interface. It's a look and feel and how users work in that environment. So let's take a look at SharePoint 2016 first. I'm going to show you my environment. So this is SharePoint 2016. This is my team site, and as you can see, it looks almost exactly like SharePoint 2013, with the biggest exception being the, if you can see here, the black bar that we have on top. This they've taken from Office 365, and I love how they've done this because it shows that Microsoft has worked on creating a single look and feel to their on-premise and on-cloud platforms to help users and companies feel like they're working in one environment. So you can see we have SharePoint 2016 UI here, and this black bar is the suite bar from Office 365 here that they've taken and added to SharePoint 2016. So we get this new functionality with apps here. And here we have integration of new apps to make it easier for you to access them. So we have Newsfeed, OneDrive, which right there is a cloud feature, and Sites. So they've added these to make it easier for users to access these apps, but not to throw them into a cloud platform, but allow them to work on-premise. So not only have they changed and added functionality for SharePoint 2016, we have these apps that we can use. For Office 365, if I click here, which is the same suite bar, we have all these apps that are available to us. So we also have News, Feed, OneDrive, Sites, Task, Delve, and we have our Office suite to work with. So this is for those of you that have never stepped foot into Office 365, this is the home page, though granted you can actually set up your home pages. This page shows all your apps that you have access to, and so just about everything that we need is now in your browser or on the cloud. So this is, in essence, Office 365. So it's very similar when you're talking about SharePoint 2016. You now have to talk about also Office 365. So they're both bridged, but they're also separate. Let's take a look at some of the little functionalities that some subtle changes you'll notice. For example, on the bottom right here, we have additional options in our document library, which we did not have in SharePoint 2013. We have sync, share, and then we have the new upload and new icon. So if I go back to SharePoint 2013 here, this is our SharePoint 2013 environment. Let me go to Documents to show you just how different it is, but not too much of a change, as you can see. New document, and then we don't have those that functionality that we do have in SharePoint 2016. So now you can also, when you document, you can right-click now and see in the In Context menu and look at Properties, Version History, copy, download, share. So majority of it is the same. The biggest upgrade we had it was in SharePoint 2013 from SharePoint 2010. So we had a major UI upgrade and a functionality upgrade. We were given site contents. So this is the SharePoint 2016 site contents where you have apps. Apps took the place in form of adding lists or libraries. So now when you want to add a list or libraries, you can just go back to your apps and you can add in lists or libraries that are available to you. So it's pretty much it's the same as SharePoint 2013. You can add your apps. The settings is pretty similar too. So if you're going to be using SharePoint 2016, you don't have to worry about relearning. Just about everything is similar. You get that little new functionality changes and apps available to you. So it's a good decision not to create. It was a good decision by Microsoft not to create an entirely new environment, because then we have to go in and relearn how to use it. And most people don't want to do that. They want to be able to take advantage of new features and functionalities, the higher performance, but within a similar environment. And that's what Microsoft has given us with SharePoint 2016. So a little bit of improvements. The there are some amazing things, little bit amazing things that affect the way you work. For example, ODF, you can now create files in the document library and save them as open document format extension. So this will allow your users to edit those files in whichever program they want to use. File name, length, and other character restrictions have been removed. So you can now add some special characters such as the and symbol, but be careful. Not all are available. The percentage symbol and the pound symbol are not included. There's the new knowledge management portal, which was introduced in Office 365 also. There's a new user profile page to include content from Delve and the Office Graph API, which is the intelligent search. There's a drag and drop feature added to blogs to improve experience. That's great. Everyone loves drag and drop. System improvements, reduce latency and traffic between servers through server role optimization. So this would also go into MinRoles, which is new, which is something new that they've added when you're installing and configuring SharePoint. It's the MinRole server configuration, which simplifies farm and server roles configuration. Then we have Slappy, which is the SharePoint logging API, which helps to improve the ability to record and report on analytics, reliability improvements to distributed cache, Microsoft Project Server. So if you've never worked with PWA, then this is their online solution or SharePoint solution that you can integrate Microsoft Project Server with SharePoint. So you would have to install those separately. But now it comes with the SharePoint installation. So Microsoft Project Server content is now also integrated into the SharePoint content databases. Security improvements, SAML claims-based authentication is the preferred and default authentication method. There are 51 out-of-the-box compliance features to support identification and protection of data. So there's also other improvements such as document deletion and in-place hold policies. You can preserve documents, emails, files, and you can also delete documents, for example, in your OneDrive for business after a set period of time. Information rights management, which is the so SharePoint 2016 provides capabilities with IRM by encrypting and securing information on SharePoint libraries with OneDrive for Business. So there's a lot of new improvements that have been made in SharePoint 2016 that's taken a lot of effort and work by Microsoft to develop. Some of the great new things Microsoft is boasting is the zero downtime patching, which would help keep your environment and give you a 99.9% uptime, which is great. And one of the ways that this works is there's a reduced number of patches. So every few months you would get, I believe 4 times a year you would get a number of patches from around 40 patches. This has been reduced to a few files. For example, we have the MSI and MSB files and a language patch. So that's about 3 files that you would get instead of 40. And Microsoft boasts that you can create site collections in 1 second. So this is because you can use an existing master site and create site collections at the SQL Server level via PowerShell. So it's no longer jumping back and forth between SQL and SharePoint servers, though I have seen in a lot of places and our own testing that it takes around, it shows you it's been completed 100% in 1 second, but you don't have access to the actual site collections for about 4 to 7 minutes. That's the time that we were getting. So some depreciated features, there's always going to be things that are no longer available in the newest version of anything. So when it comes to SQL, in SharePoint 2013, you would have to, you can install the prerequisites, go in and install the standalone installation of SQL, and then complete the SharePoint installation and configuration, but no longer can you do that. You have to install SharePoint, you have to install SQL before running prior to SharePoint 2016 installation. So there's no standalone option during installation, which installed SQL Express. Unfortunately, SharePoint 2016 Foundation is not included into the SharePoint 2016 release. Foundation was a free option that you were given. It had a lot of functionality when it was released in SharePoint 2010 and 2013. SharePoint Designer will not be shipped with SharePoint 2016. However, SharePoint Designer 13 will continue to be supported. InfoPath 2013 will be continued to be supported, including InfoPath form services, but we don't actually know where InfoPath is going. We know that Microsoft is going to continue support till 2026, and then as for support in online and on-premise, we don't really know. They haven't given us a date on when they're going to stop continuing support for InfoPath. Excel services are no longer part of SharePoint, so Excel services have been merged with Excel web apps. So these are all gone in essence, and that's some of the depreciated features that we've seen in SharePoint 2016. OneDrive. So OneDrive is Microsoft's solution for collaboration. Let me actually show you from my environment. This is their on-cloud solution to storing files and sharing files. So as you can see here, we have my OneDrive for Business, and I have my documents added here. And it's similar to OneDrive for Office 365 or online. Now what you have is this solution for collaboration and sharing and storing on the cloud. You can now integrate through redirect your OneDrive. So for example, if you're on premises and you click on OneDrive, you can set it up so that it points people to, or your users to, Office 365. So that way they only have one OneDrive for Business with a sync that works. What this allows users to do is it simplifies everything, and you have one environment to manage all your files using OneDrive across multiple devices, and you can work from anywhere. Because let's face it, users want to be able to access their information and files and documents, and either from home or for work, and from many different devices, your phone or your tablet or laptop. So users want a cloud-ready, cross-platform, multi-device solution, and many of you probably already use this. So you use Dropbox or Google Drive. So users are already using cloud solutions even at the office. So OneDrive is Microsoft's solution, and it works well. Microsoft is doing a lot to make sure the accessibility of cloud features is easy and non-intrusive. So here you can share files and follow other people, and follow sites and documents, and get access to all these features that you can access anywhere, and from many different devices. So hybrid is, you probably noticed that there's a cloud integration with on-premise. So when we're talking about that, we're talking about hybrid improvement. And hybrid is the beast, or the elephant in the room. From the beta, we all knew that this was the underlining proposition by Microsoft to make a bridge between SharePoint on-premises and cloud. And what's interesting is you can search on cloud and on-premises and single set of results. So that's one of the features that you get when you're working on hybrid. Search service query can now, the search server can now query SharePoint Online in Office 365 and provide a single ranked result set with integrated relevancy. So you don't have to deal with separate verticals anymore. You get a single set of results from two different platforms, so you don't have to combine those results. There's consolidation of social features to ensure their what's followed on-premise and online content appears in a single social profile. So when we're talking about this, we're also talking about the hybrid sites solution. You can follow different sites on online and on-premise, and with a single social profile, you get content between two different platforms in one environment. Delve and Office 365 API, Graph API can surface content from on-premise along with content in Office 365 or on the cloud. So companies have a lot of data that does not contain sensitive information. You can use a hybrid approach to crawl large amounts of data and leverage hybrid search for great performance. So like I said, a lot of companies want to stay on-premise and they want to keep their data in-house. But if you have data that you can use online, then this is a great solution for you. And I highly recommend that you at least take advantage of this. It's a very interesting path taken by Microsoft. So again, for hybrid search, this offers users the ability to find relevant information on Office 365 and on premises. You can index your crawled content in your search index in Office 365 to include on-premises content. So that way when users query the search index, they get a unified search result. You will have to use Office 365 search for this to work. If on-premises users query on-premises search service, it will only give you or them local results. So Office 365 and Delve and Office Graph tap into external databases and to integrate into SharePoint 2016, but it does not work the other way around when we're dealing with this. So again, Microsoft wants to create an almost seamless environment. This is a way to get users used to cloud platform rather than having two different environments and many annoyed users. So Delve is very interesting, and we're going to get into that where we have data from two platforms being searched and combined to show or depicted through one place. So Office Delve is something that Microsoft has been pushing for a long time now. It's one of the greatest new features by them. So Office Delve is a new way to search relevant information from data across Office 365, as well as provide predictive search capabilities. So Microsoft is really pushing Delve, and rightfully so. It uses machine learning intelligence to better help suggest relevant content. It can be leveraged with your sites, OneDrive, Skype, Yammer, and throughout essentially Office 365 environment. Delve personalizes content based on insights from the Office graph. So let me take you to Delve right now. Let me go back to my Office 365 environment, and Delve will be an app that you choose from your suite. So Delve, you can search using a very natural language search. So it has the ability to use natural language search capabilities to find and suggest data for you. You can search for blogs, for example, and you'll get a list of suggestions based off your blogs and what you've worked on recently or what you're following. And it depends on what you search for also, but it gives you suggestions also based off what you search. So you get your relevant information and you get information that might be useful to you. So again, the way that they did this is to provide efficiency and ease in accessing data and collaborating with other users and other people. Unfortunately, it's not available on premise right now, but not to worry, Microsoft is going to allow users to include content from SharePoint 2016 So you will be able to integrate this with SharePoint 2016 in the near future. And you will also be able to integrate this with SharePoint 2013. So they're also making sure that SharePoint 2013 users are able to access and harness this search capabilities that Delve has to offer. It will open Delve to external data sources and third-party platforms too. So you'll be able to use Delve across many different platforms in the near future. SharePoint hybrid sites. So SharePoint hybrid sites I had mentioned earlier. What it essentially allows users to do is if users follow sites in both Office 365 and on-premise, let me go ahead and go to my sites in Office 365 and my SharePoint site here. So what this allows you to do is it allows you to create a single environment where you'll have a list of your followed sites, whether they're available on Office 365 or on-premise. When your users follow sites, they'll be able to see in their Office 365 profile their followed sites, recommended sites, recent sites, and sites from on-premise and on the cloud. So they're all sites from SharePoint Online, Office 365, and on-premises are aggregated into one place. So you can configure a server-to-server connection that allows you to join features of both environments. So if you're using both on-premise and online, this feature will make it easier for you and your users to follow all of your sites. Social integration. Another thing that Microsoft has come out with is Yammer. Yammer is the social network for your business. Let me show you that. Yammer is available on Office 365. So if you have Office 365, you can access Yammer based off your subscription. But here we have Yammer. So this is their social networking, essentially, for your users in-house. What this will allow you to do is it allows you to post what you're working on. For example, I was working on my SharePoint 2013 webinar, and I can post it, I can notify it, or I can send it to the entire company. So I'm going to post that I am working on my SharePoint 2016 webinar. And so if other users within the company know about SharePoint 2016, if they want to participate, if they want to join in and collaborate with me, they will see a post about SharePoint 2016. And as you can see, this is essentially our news feed. And you'll be able to see everything that other people are working on if they've posted it, and you can join in and work with them on that specific project. So what a lot of companies these days are doing now is that aside from the work that you have from 9 to 5, let's say, you get a specific amount of time to work on projects that you want to work on, that you are passionate about, or that you want to take part in. So Yammer is really great for this, because it will allow people who want to step into something that they want to work in and give them an easy and efficient way to see what's being worked on within their company to be able to take part in that. So initially you could only socialize with people in your company, but they've added the ability to socialize with people or users such as suppliers and customers outside your company. So what you can do other than socializing is you can actually work on projects with many different people. You can create groups and talk about your projects. You can upload images and videos and documents. You can share files. You can even create pages, which are essentially documents, but you can create pages, and everything is accessible on mobile too via the Yammer app. And what Yammer has done is they've opened their APIs for you to be able to work on many different platforms, such as SharePoint. You can use SharePoint 2016 with Yammer and integrate Yammer also with other platforms such as Salesforce and many different sites. So Yammer is like Delve. They want you to be able to use Yammer if you're on SharePoint or not, which is a really great thing. Like I said, this is the social networking for your users and your companies, and it works well because it allows you to take part in projects that you might not have known were available. So mobile, when we're talking about work, we have to talk about mobile. So you want to be able to work from many different devices and work from anywhere. And I work on my mobile too, and one of the things that frustrates me is that sometimes some sites, some features are not available on mobile the way they are available on your laptop or your browser or desktop site. So Microsoft has invested a lot of resources into HTML5. So there are new capabilities that enable device-specific targeting of content or user personalization. There's an ease of access to information that was essentially harder to obtain before. And one of the better things about this is that there's a new touch-friendly interface. So before we used to have problems with smartphones and their responsiveness with your sites and lag time, and it was slow, and you couldn't do your work essentially on mobile. So now Microsoft has worked a lot to make sure that you can work from essentially any device, mobile, tablet, or laptop. So out of the box, it might seem general or standard to you, though you can customize to work better with mobile. You can create a friendly and better device. You have the ability to access information which is now very common, and in a way you can say it's a necessity. So SharePoint 2016 enables device-specific targeting of content to help ensure that users have access to information on whichever device they choose to use. MinRoles. This is essentially very important. I did go over a little bit on MinRoles earlier. MinRoles is a new way to install your SharePoint servers and your SharePoint farm. So now you can choose a specific role on SharePoint servers. This new feature allows SharePoint farm admins to define each server's role, which then SharePoint automatically configures the server based off that role. So this simplifies deployment, improves performance, reliability. It allows you to leverage predictable capacity planning. This is where SharePoint automatically configures your servers based off the role that you have chosen. So a lot of companies don't have a typical 3-server farm. You have the one front-end server, the app server, database server, and then you realize that by adding another front-end server, you can scale so much better. So what MinRole will do for you is you can install all the right things on that server for that specific role. So you can install a front-end server, and configuration will add the same features and services per role. For IT pros, it makes it easier, much easier to deploy servers, because it causes a shift from managing servers to also managing roles. So with MinRoles, you work with 4 servers: front-end, application, distributed cache, and search. And you can also go with a custom role. You can customize and define what you want activated, and in the future, as a precaution, if you do decide to deploy a server within that role, all the features will automatically be activated. So this actually works well for those of you who work in large environments, and it allows you to scale easily and stay within compliance. So what does compliance mean when you're talking about server deployment? It means that for this particular case, it means that this particular server that you're deploying is compliant with the role that it belongs to. So let me actually show you from my central admin how you would be able to manage that. So essentially, what you can do is you can go to your central admin, and you can manage your servers in that particular farm. And you'll have your servers, what services they're running. For example, I have my server here, my SharePoint 2016 server, what's installed, and I did install a single server farm, which we had the option to do right below. As you can see, it says single server farm. And so it shows that it's in compliance. And for this, I can't really go back and change rules. But if you did have, let's say, a front-end server, a distributed cache server, application server, what you can do is, if you're working on the server at least, and you activate it, when it falls into compliance and you want to go ahead and change it later on, you can actually roll back and change the role of the server that you're working on right now. So you can change your application server role to be a different role later on. So as you can see, I have all my services running. It's in compliance. There's no action required, and yeah, I can remove my server if I want to. I don't want to do that. I'm going to go back and we're going to take a look at managing servers in this particular farm. So when you install your server, some of the roles that you get, for example, secure store service, user profile service. So not a lot has changed when you're deploying your farm. Essentially, it just made it easier for you to deploy your farms and deploy your servers. Here, you can move and change the roles. You get all your services. You can choose a single server farm role. So I'm not going to be able to choose and change the roles on my server, but you can do that later on. So if you do choose the custom min role, you'll be able to then move then across to something different later on in the future. Essentially, this is the central admin once again, but as you can see, not all has changed because Microsoft wants to give you these new features, functionalities, and higher performance without creating a completely new environment for you to work on. So pretty much it's all the same. The search service application topology changed because of the search role, but it's essentially the same thing. So this was the central admin for you. And MinRoles, you want to keep an eye on your specific roles. And just once again, I want to let you know you can convert your servers to run new roles later on. Compliance. So we did talk about a little bit of compliance when we're talking about MinRoles, but there have been new compliance features added into SharePoint 2016. So a lot of effort has been made to simplify Office 365 and SharePoint compliance. So what you get in SharePoint is you get to leverage Office 365 compliance features with on-premises SharePoint. You can also build your own policies using the in-place policyholder center and the compliance center for data protection, monitoring tools. You also get improved reporting and analytics. So this is all to help you make sure that your farm is running smoothly and with little to no issues. Migration. There's a little bit of change with migration. Okay, there's a major change with migration. There's only migration from SharePoint 2013 to SharePoint 2016. So if you have SharePoint 2010, let's say, you have to upgrade to SharePoint 2013, then 2016. It is only database attached upgrade. You have two options here. One is the in-place upgrade install, which installs SharePoint directly on top of the SharePoint 2013 installation, or you can clean install and then attach a content database from a previous SharePoint deployment. Though there are other handy solutions out there that you can use, such as 8Point, to help you with your migration or ShareGate. So this is a little bit of a migration before you jump into SharePoint 2016, in case you're trying to install or upgrade from SharePoint 2010. Limitations. There has been change with a lot of the limitations that you had in SharePoint 2013 and 10, which were generally the same, and to SharePoint 2016. So for example, we have the content database upgraded to your terabyte sizes. So in the past you had around 200 gigs in general to use, but now you can use up to terabytes worth of space and data. Site collections, you had 2,000 recommended, 5,000 maximum. For site collections, you now can use 100 site collections per content database. Though this is a bit difficult to understand, but essentially you can use 100,000, but I would advise that you use based off your RAM and your hard drive and your resources that you have. List threshold has been increased to above 5,000. So essentially, you can have thousands of documents, but what Microsoft says is the best policy is to have a 5,000 item threshold. So what this does is that when you look at contents that is stored on SQL, SQL Server is queried to look for those documents, and with too many documents, SQL Server tables can freeze or lock. So this can be a very serious issue. With this, you can get an increase in view threshold to avoid that problem, though you might want to be careful because there isn't a really specific number that you should go up to. I've seen 10,000 and higher, so it depends on your choice too. But if you want to, you can stick with the 5,000 limit threshold as stated by Microsoft, just in case. Max file size has increased to 10 gigs of data with the removal of character restrictions. In the past, you had the default maximum file size of 250 megabytes with an increase of 2 gigs. So they use this shredded document technology in storage, which gets rid of timeouts and connection errors when transferring files. So not only do you get an increase in the max file size, but also an increase in performance and speed, essentially. Index items. Before we had the 100 million per search service application, but now you have 2 times an increase in search scale to 500 million items. So this has been scaled up dramatically to help users access search service and look for multiple items, and essentially this helps increase efficiency when you're dealing with search. So a lot of changes and limitations to help your SharePoint server and help your users manage how they work with files and what they're allowed to do and the thresholds they're allowed to go past. So as you can see, Microsoft is leveraging SharePoint to push cloud services, which are pretty useful. Have you ever heard of the song Stairway to Heaven? It's a great song. Well, this is Microsoft's stairway to the cloud for us. And if you want to stay on-premise, you can stay on-premise and be able to leverage apps that you, for example, OneDrive, and use feed insights and those functionalities within your on-premise, or you can go to Office 365 and get access to more apps and functionality, but that's your choice, and you get the hybrid approach to dip your feet into the cloud. So it allows everyone who wants to stay on premises but to dip their feet into cloud features to better orient themselves or leverage what cloud has to offer without having to jump ships and have to be forced into an environment that they don't want to be in. So this was essentially SharePoint 2016. I hope you guys enjoyed the webinar. if you have questions, you can send me an email at aaron@qkgroups.com. It was the admin group email available to you, and also you can send me privately any questions that you have or in chat. So I'm going to go through and see if anyone has any questions. If not, you can email me, and I can personally email you solutions or answers to questions that that you have that you want to ask. Okay, it looks like there are no questions. Like I said, you can email me anytime you want. I will be sending a recording of this webinar to you guys to access later. So thank you all for joining once again. My name was Surjit Patel, and I will see you guys in the next webinar that we have. I'll send you an email so that way you can join and get all this information. Thank you guys. Have a good day.
You use it on Aaron when you said Sanjeev.